Look at this giant dirt mound near my house. Look, I'm on top of it now. I see no other god up here except for me. Anyways, I'm at the bottom of it now. Anyways, enough of that. I'm gonna tell you guys a story because I'm bored and I have nothing else to do. And by you, I mean I'm gonna tell you a story. You on the other side of the screen, on the other side of the screen watching this video. You right? Yeah, you. I'm gonna tell you a story, and you're gonna sit there and listen. All right. Whew, I'm winded. Anyway, I saw this a few years ago. I did acid once. And what I did, and that whole weekend was like I was like fear and loathing in Las Vegas, you know. It was so weird. It felt like, I felt like Hunter Thompson or Johnny Depp during that time, right? So anyway, the whole weekend started off kind of terribly. My friend, for the sake of the video, to protect his identity, we're gonna call him Mark. So Mark had planned to take me out to his grandparents' place for a while, and we had decided that, like, at the end of the day, not like a while after I get off work, he'd come and get me, right? Well, at the last minute, right as I just got off work, he hits me up and says, "Hey, I'm coming over to your place now to come get you." So I was pissed off, so I had to race all the way home, take the shortest shower of my life. I think I was I was in and out of the shower in like under a minute. Yeah, that fast, which is a lot shorter than how I normally take it, right? I'll be in there for a while, you know, because you'll do that thing where you could soap and shampoo yourself in like 5 minutes, but then you spend like another 30 minutes just like contemplating life's choices, basically, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, after all that happens, I end up waiting like 15 minutes for him to get there anyway, because you know how people are when they say they're on their way. It's like they're in the middle of doing something else entirely, and they actually won't be on their way for a really long time. Hey, can I ask you guys a question real quick? Whenever you guys are like on a walk or something, do you ever, and you're like kicking a rock or something like that, if you end up missing it, do you ever go back and get it, or do you just like keep going without it? Me, I always go back and get it, because when I'm with that rock, I'm like, dude, you're in here with me now, all right? Or better yet, I'll just kick it all the way to it has another pile of rocks, and I'll just be like, you're free now, be with your own people. Well, I lost it now, so I don't know where it is, so I guess we're going on without it. Anyway, a friend of mine comes, Mark comes, and he comes and picks me up, right? And we're on the road, we're tra-la-la, all the way down to his grandparents' place. And actually, I left out a detail. When we were on our way out there, we picked up this other friend of his, and it's like, I don't know, I forgot what I know what his name is, but for the sake of this video, we're going to call him, Timmy. Yeah, that's what we're going to call him, Timmy. Or Tim. We're just gonna call him Tim. We're gonna call this other friend Tim. So we pick up Tim, and then we continue along our journey to the Mark's grandparents' house. We get there. We eat. Actually, no, wait. There's another detail I forget. After we had gotten Tim, we go out and we meet up with the drug dealer. And apparently, Tim knew a guy, and we got weed that I paid for, and an acid, and I paid for like a lot. I paid for some weed and like 1 tab of acid for me, and everybody else covered it. Actually, no, it was just me and Mark who were gonna do the acid. Timmy was not gonna do anything. He was just gonna be by him, just kind of, I guess, babysit us while me and Mark were tripping. So I pay for the weed and a tab for myself, and Mark pays for his tab. Get out there, we eat dinner, then we all decide to go to sleep, which, I mean, me, Mark, and Tim obviously don't, because we were going to stay up and do the acid. So after the grandparents went to sleep, me, Mark, and Tim all go pretty much into the bathroom to take our acid, and Tim was like, I guess, videotaping specifically me as sort of like a, I guess, savoring memories, you know, kind of like a, I guess, like family. We're at the part of my nightly walk where there's like no lights on, so you're probably not, you guys at home probably aren't going to see anything for a while, or at least you might have to turn up the brightness or some shit to actually see everything, so sorry about that. Anyway, we're going to the bathroom, we take our acid tabs, and now we're pretty much just waiting for it to kick in. So we go back into the room we were all sleeping in, and we watch a little bit of regular show for a little bit. Then we all decide to go on a walk for a little bit while we wait for it to kick in. Then, when we come back from our walk, I can feel it starting to hit a little bit by this point, but sort of give it a jump start, we decide to get out some of the weed that I had paid for earlier and smoke some of that. Now, the funny thing about how we did it was, Tim had this... Oh shit, a car just drove by. Anyway, funny thing about Tim was that he had this bong he brought with him that was shaped like a gun, so that it looked like when you were taking a hit out of it, it looked like you were like pointing the barrel of the gun into your mouth like you were going to shoot yourself. So it was funny when he broke it out when we were first going to start smoking for a bit. They started playing with it like he's going to like shoot us or something with it, you know? So anyway, we smoke, and then... Oh shit, I got scared by something for a second. Anyway, we smoke some of the weed for a bit, and then it was like right when we were finished, that's when the acid kicked in. And Jesus Christ, that was like hell on wheels, man. It was like, it's so weird. My whole sense of like distance was like all kinds of whopper jawed, and it was like I couldn't, like, walking felt like the most difficult task in the world I'd ever tried doing. Like, there was nothing that compared to the difficulty that was trying to walk. So obviously when we're all stumbling our way, and by the way, when we were smoking the weed, we were sitting in like the driveway up to the grandparents' house. We had gathered some chairs out and we kind of sat in like a circle passing the bong around. And that was when, everything started to like kick in, that we kind of put the chairs away and kind of stumbling back, me and Mark both were stumbling back into the house, or at least trying our best to anyway. And it was while we were stumbling, trying our absolute best to stumble our way back to the house, that this random flash of light just got shoved into my face, and I was not ready for it. So obviously my entire being was all kinds of freaking out, and I was like, oh God, what happened? What is going on? And it turns out, when like the smoke had cleared and the dust had settled, it turns out Tim had snuck up behind me and shoved his phone in my face and was trying to show me this one music video. I forgot what exactly the video was about, but I do remember that it was like, okay, we're at this part of, we're by the pool, by my house. Anyway, I don't remember exactly what the music video was about, but it pissed me off so much because of how disorienting it was. And it's like, it was weird. It was like, this guy is like, I don't even remember I don't even know how to describe it. That's how fucked up it was, you know? But then again, I was on acid, so, you know, everything's kind of hard to describe when you're in that state of mind. I'm sitting down for a second to catch my breath because I'm really fucking winded right now. Anyway, so after we had gotten our way back into the house, we kind of get into our, like, makeshift beds that we had all made for ourselves. And the entire time, I keep, like, switching between laying down and sitting up because I'd be freaking out so much. And I'd be just, like, rocking back and forth, you know, like a fucking lunatic in the madhouse. And it was so fucking weird and, like, disorienting. And, like, the entire time, I kept holding on to Mark's shoulder, because that was, like, the one thing that kept me grounded, was, like, knowing, like, trying to ground myself in reality, I guess, really, is what I was trying to say. And it's, like, knowing that Mark was right there, it's, like, trying to tell yourself that, because to me, my point of view is that he was, like, so much further away. It was like, he looked like, even though his, like, makeshift bed was right next to mine, it looked like he was fucking, like, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of light years away. So it's like, I'm freaking out. I'm like, how far away is everything? I wasn't actually scouting it, but boy, was I fucking tempted to. And it's like, they got to a point where I was just fucking, like, I was like clinging on to to Mark and just like fucking shaking him a bunch of times, like, how far away are you? You know, and it's yeah. So yeah, and it's like, so the night progresses on, and it's like, for a while we kept watching that one music video. I'm gonna go like continue on my walk till I catch my breath. So for a while they kept playing that one music video that got shoved into my face on like repeat a bunch of times for some reason. I don't know why, but I guess they knew that the music video just upset me because of how disorienting it was. And it got to a point where we all decided we wanted to watch that anime movie Akira, which, oh man, that's a feeling I can't even I definitely cannot describe as watching Akira when you're out of your fucking mind. Oh yeah, y'all probably couldn't see anything for a bit. I gotta keep my hand up here so that you guys don't get disoriented. Anyway, so we continue into the night. We're watching Akira, and the entire time I'm just doing everything I can to fucking stay grounded in reality. I'm like sort of paying attention to the movie, but also kind of not, because yeah, this is my first time, so obviously I'm gonna be freaked out trying to just understand everything. Anyway, continue on into the night. I'm freaking out. Not really freaking out. It's kind of like, so what I've been told, Mark told me right before this whole thing started, that there's gonna come a point where your brain is gonna be like thinking that you're gonna be in this state forever, and that's not actually true. When you get into that state, you kind of start to freak out a bit, and it's like when that kept bouncing around in my head, and I kept having to tell myself that this is not going to last forever. So what I kept doing was, before all this had started, Mark had started a timer that was going to basically like time how long our trip would last. So every time I started getting those "I'm going to last forever" things, it would just kind of, I'd have to tell myself I'm not going to last like this forever. And I just keep asking, like, how long has it been? How long has it been? How long has it been? To Mark several times. I think he got annoyed. But it wasn't until, like, the day after this whole thing was over that he knew that's exactly why I was asking that question. Because I kept having to, like, forcing my brain into, like, not thinking that it's going to be like that forever. Anyway, we continue into the night. And there came a point where Mark decided to get up and go take a shower. And it was at this point that Tim was like passed out asleep. Like, he wasn't really paying attention to either of us. So it was pretty much just me by myself trying to watch Akira. So obviously I was having a hard time trying to focus on that. So I was basically just like freaking having like a miniature like meltdown without anybody around, more or less. But then later he came back, and I was like, oh, thank fucking Christ he's back. And I kind of felt safe again, basically, because I'm, like, with somebody who knows what I'm going through. But then there came a point where I had to, like, get up and go to the bathroom. But the problem was, I knew all of my basic motor functions were shot. There was no way I was going to get up and go to the bathroom with moderate ease. But I had to go at some point because I felt the fucking gastro something going on in my belly. So I was like, well, better out than in. So I had to force myself to get up. And it was like, oh my God, that was a fucking adventure all on its own. I get up, and so the layout, real quick, let me mention. So there's the one room that me, Mark, and Tim are all staying in, that we're all sleeping in, right? But our room was connected to this other separate bedroom, like in the top left corner. Yeah, top left corner is another doorway that leads into another room. And that room off to the side, all the way on the other side, opposite to where our door was, or where our entryway was another door that leads into another bathroom. And that room that connected us to the bathroom was completely dark, and the only thing lighting up that room was the light from the bathroom. So there was this little miniature trail there. So in my mind, the darkness all around that trail was like the void. Like, there was nothing. If I like strayed from the trail, I would just be like, I just fall off into the void, basically, is what I was thinking to myself. So I'm kind of like super like scared going across that little trail going into the light. of the, oh man, that sounds bad, going, like, following the light to the bathroom. And I eventually get there, albeit very slowly, because my legs are wanting to just collapse out from under me. And I get to the bathroom, I close the door, lock it. I make sure to lock it, because at always times like this, I get super paranoid that someone's gonna bust in on me and just start fucking with me or something. Well, I just fucking heard something out in the bushes. The fuck is that? Sounds like a fucking raccoon giving birth out there. Anyway, there it is again. Keeps talking when I'm talking. Anyway, so we get into the bathroom, and I make sure to lock the door because I'm freaking out that someone's gonna, like, burst in and start fucking with me or something. So I, like, lock the door, and it's even when I have, like, the doors locked and, like, everything closed up, I'm still, like, not paranoid to the point where I didn't even go, right? I just sat there till whatever pain it was I was feeling in my stomach just subsided. And then that was it. I kind of had to, then the journey back came, and that was a fucking nightmare all on its own. So basically just copy and paste the trip there, and it was kind of the same way back, but still really freaking scary to do. I get back to the thing, and the night continues on as normal, and it gets to the point where I'm on the downward stretch now of this whole trip. And it's, like, very close to sunrise, and it's, like, I should probably say, all night long, I was also texting this other friend of mine. Let's see, what's the name we should come up with for him? Bob. We'll call him Bob. Yeah, we're gonna call him Bobby. So I would be texting Bob all night long, and he's gay, by the way. I'm not saying that matters or anything like that. It's just a detail of the story, so why leave it out? Anyway, so I was texting him all night long about how I was, like, tripping, and what was upsetting to me, though, about this whole thing was he sent one text that I, for some reason, interpreted as him being pissed off at me. So, like, all night long, I was, on top of everything else, I was also freaking out about how he was potentially mad at me. And then it got to a point where he was saying something about a pipe, and it wasn't until the next morning I figured out that he was getting piped up upon consulting with Mark Lamau. Anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, it's pretty close to dawn, and it gets to a point where we're on the downward stretch now. I'm kind of calmed down for the most part, and Mark says he wants to go on a walk, but just leave Tim in bed asleep. So we go out with him, and we just kind of talk it out the next morning, and then at that point, it's pretty much blown over. Except the next day afterwards, my brain was fucking fried and tired as fuck. Because, you know, you can't sleep when you're tripping. So, yeah, I was tired and fried by the end of the whole thing. And just, yeah. And every night after that, we just kept smoking weed until we went home. And that's the story of how I did acid. Bye.